Okay, guys, welcome back. So, today we are going through the final episode of the series, or I should say I guess it is the true final episode, but just as a reminder, this is the epilogue. So there will be no battles in this episode. Basically, we're going to do a map reveal, we're going to go through some old saves, yada yada. I already mentioned it at the end of the last episode, so I won't repeat myself. Should have seen that episode. But but anyway, there's going to be no battles or anything. The series is over, so if you have no interest in seeing a map reveal and going through some old saves, then feel free to skip either to the next series, which is probably not started by the time you watch this, but it will soon, if it hasn't already. And of course, I have a couple of old series you could watch too, if this was perhaps your first and you want to see some other series that I've done. But anyway, I did look up the definition of the word foregoil. You may recall that on the victory screen, it talked about our victory over the foregoil, and apparently that is a word for the Rohirrim. So actually, that is quite appropriate, considering that we finished them off in the final battle of this season of this series. Another thing that I was curious about was Greenwood Watch being essentially like a full settlement map, as opposed to just like a small fort. And so what it occurred to me I could do with Thornburg Keep. Now, obviously, I could have just looked at the previous episode, but that's no fun. Instead, we can just look right at the battle map. Because that's a thing you can do in Rome 1. And actually, you can do it in Medieval 2, but there's a trick to it. If you watch, one of my next pairings is going to be a series in Medieval 2, and you will see how I do it. But anyway, we could just do this, I realized, as well. And we can do it together right here on camera and see that, yes, Thornburg Keep was also basically a full settlement map. I noticed there doesn't appear to be anyone in the streets. In the base game, if you do this, I believe there will be, like, just random people walking around the street, but I guess that's not a thing here. Though, to be fair, the only people here are a bunch of huntsmen. Or no, wait, huntsmen? Oh, and actually, I think there is a governor and a bodyguard here, so not too many people to necessarily see running around. But anyway, I guess that answers my question. Some forts are just more substantial than others. Even though I, personally, as the Dunlandians, can't do anything with them, I believe, like, when the Reunited Kingdom held the place, they were able to build, like, all of these buildings, and presumably Rohan was able to build this up a fair bit. Like, they can even get Dominion buildings here, whereas I cannot. Alright, but anyway, without further delay, let us do a reveal here and see where everyone is at this time. Alright, so we have Adunabar holding, I guess, most of the territories that I thought they would be. Or ones that I even just straight up knew about. Like, I did have a spy right here, and he traveled basically here, so we knew that this was territory of Rune. And it looks like Adunabar... Oh, Adunabar actually got a little further north than I thought they did. Got it all the way up to Holt. See, did they go to war with Dale at all? You at war with Dale? No, you are not. Interesting. They are at war with Rune, though. Or, wait, the Chiefdom of North Rune... Oh, right. There's two runic factions, aren't there? North Rune and, I guess, plain regular Rune. Vanilla Rune. So it looks like they are at war with, well, at least the regular Rune. Where's Dale? Dale, there you are. Okay, they're actually at war with both of the runes. But anyway, let's do this somewhat systematically. So here we are. Adunabar stretches... Oh, actually, Adunabar Wait, has Adunabar lost territory? There's Khand. They're not at war with Khand, though, are they? It doesn't look like it. I don't remember them going to war with Khand, but I guess maybe they did? Because this looks like a Numenorian city. In design, at least. And so I would assume that that would have been part of Adunabar's territory at the start of the game. Since we are going to do some other map reveals as we go through the old saves, we'll actually, I guess, be able to see how far, like, where Adunabar was in the beginning. But okay, we've got Rune, we've got Khand. All right, you know what? We'll just head south now, too. Khand, and we've got the much-hated Haradrim. Well, actually, they're not very much hated, but they did rather annoyingly declare war on what was basically the last turn. I assume they are at war with Khand. Yes, indeed. I guess that makes sense considering how much they're facing off against each other. I have to admit, Harad has an army or 10. Wow, look at all those troops. I think Khand is in trouble. Let's see, where's all of Khan's army? Oh, I don't know that Khand really has any armies. Oh, is that an Orkhold? I think it is. It looks like Khand is taking it over. Yeah, it doesn't look like Khand really has anything in the way of major armies. There's like a, what, is this a half stack? Oh, actually, I guess this is a full stack, but maybe the units have small entity counts. But I don't know, even so, it looks like Khand is about to be invaded by all the hosts of the Haradrim. Or at least they would if they hadn't just declared war on me, in which case I imagine these hordes would have been heading west and would have eventually made their way to me. I assume, do they have... I don't think I can see if they have military access or not. I know they're allied with the Adunabar, but I can't really see what other relationships they might have. So if they have military access, I assume they could walk right through there. If not, then I assume they would do naval invasions to try to get to me. If this campaign was continuing, what I might consider doing would be to, like, send a diplomat through here, just to see if I could get peace. Well, once these guys are dead here. We don't want them in our territory. But maybe we could get peace out of the Haradrim. Because, I mean, we don't really have any territory that, that is, like, borders each other, unless you count, or discount, rather, the water. Because I guess then we do have territories that are next to each other. But yes, the great city of Umbar. And Anumbar. I don't think I've heard of that one. Yes, this would have been quite annoying, having to deal with them. Because, I mean, they do have territory quite close by. Actually, they have actually quite the territory, at least in terms of landmass. In terms of settlements, they're definitely not as many as myself, but I don't know. I think they have less than Adunabar as well, but I don't know if they have that many less, I suppose. They've definitely done very well for themselves, and definitely would have been a pain to continue fighting had the campaign continued. Alright, so now we've come back around to our own territory again, so now let's head north in this direction, which I expect this to just be basically Rune. Or... oh, I guess I was expecting North Rune, but no, I guess this is mostly regular Rune, and then just a few settlements of North Rune. Oh, right, and we actually also can look here. Naragzigil. I believe, yes, that is also Rune. It's hard to see the banner just sticking out of the mountaintop there. But I assume... I think that would have been a dwarven settlement. And it appears to have been wiped out. Or the dwarves appear to have been wiped out in this area anyways. It seems oddly jumbled up between Rune and North Rune. Like, I would expect North Rune to be more, like, up here, and they are, but then there's regular Rune over here. But then you have North Rune again, then you have regular Rune. And they seem to be doing pretty well. No one's on the verge of being wiped out. I mean, even North Rune, with its admittedly few settlements, still has, like, sizable armies. In fact, that's an impressive amount of troops, considering they have, like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... maybe 6 settlements by the look of it? Yeah, about 6. I almost want to say they have 6 armies. Like, they have, like, a full 20 stack for each army or each settlement they've got. Okay, this is dwarves. These are rebels. Oh, orcs. Or orcses. Random rebels. More orcs. Okay, let's not get too far away from where we were looking. Okay, so then we've got Dale. You've already kind of taken a look at. The dwarves still hold Erebor. Dale and Esgaroth are still in the hands of... well, I guess Dale actually is doing somewhat well. They've got like a medium number of cities and a medium number of armies, though it looks like they might have come into conflict with the Dunabar if the campaign had gone on for too much longer. Then again, with the Dunabar being at war with me, I'm not sure if other factions would actually go to war with it. It does seem, and this could just be my paranoia talking, but it does feel to me like when a faction goes to war with you, the other factions kind of leave it alone. And I don't mean like in this mod. I mean just in like, I want to say in Total War in general. Even though that's probably not true, but it just feels that way to me. All right, the dwarves have not really expanded at all, I don't think. I guess I really don't know how many settlements they really start off with, to be honest. I assume like all of the mountain holds would be theirs. In which case... I guess I don't really see any other like mountain look. Oh, of course, other than Naragzigul over here, which has been taken by Rune. All right, so then we have the elves. Oh, we have Dale all the way over here. Wait, did Dale take... yeah, Dale took Gundabad by the look of it. We have the Beornings, more elves. Yep, the elves still hold Lothlorien and formerly Dol Guldur, restored to Amon Lank. The Beornings actually seem to have kind of like the Chiefdom of North Rune. They only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 settlements, one of which is just a fort anyways. But they seem to have plenty of armies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... yeah, like an army for each settlement that they have. This does not seem fair to me. Oh, actually 8, because I think... yeah, I don't think I counted both of those. But still, those two are forts. I don't think they would convey... or that they would make a lot of money. Alright, so now we pass over the Misty Mountains. I see a Dunabar holds... what would have previously been Angmar. Oh, it actually is still referred to as Angmar. Or the province, I should say, is referred to as Angmar. So now here's where we get into some of the more interesting bits, because I really wanted to know... I was pretty sure that the Reunited Kingdom and Adunabar started off out here fighting each other, and I wonder how this campaign has gone down. Now, it looks like the Reunited Kingdom holds most of the north up here. They hold Fornost, and they hold it with immense strength. I mean, look at that. Remember, when we eliminated the Reunited Kingdom, it was only their influence down in the south. It was not up here, and so that's why I wasn't expecting them to be gone from the list of our enemies. Interestingly enough, though, I wonder if, because they're now really far away, if I did send a diplomat to them, if we could get peace? Not that I would necessarily want peace with some filthy Dunedain scum, but, you know, just in theory, would that actually work? So, meanwhile, Dunabar holds all of this territory here. Oh, they do not hold territories down here, though. It looks like the freehold of Eriador holds everything down here. All right, so now if we head further west, we can see the freehold holds the Shire, Bree. As we get over here, let's see, rebels, dwarves. All right, well, I guess looking at the war in the north, I have to say that the Reunited Kingdom is winning, I think. They definitely have more troops up here. Adunabar seems to be very low on troops up here. And also, I think many of the settlements they hold are actually just like forts. Like, okay, so let's see. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, is that really all they have? Huh. Okay, I guess Adunabar really is just losing up here in the north. They've got, 5, because I see Carn is up there. So I think they've got like 5 settlements up here, and 2 of them are just holds, which are like orc holds, I think. I guess they could get orcs from there, but anyway, they don't seem to be doing too well in terms of armies. They've got, well, I mean, it still seems like a lot considering how little territory they have up here, but then again, they have all of their holdings in the south that they could spend money up here if they wanted to. The Reunited Kingdom has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. That's only 1 more, I think, than we counted for Adunabar, but I think only 1 of theirs is like a keep. The others actually are proper settlements. And I sort of assume that Enumenas and Fornost are actually very wealthy. Because they're just very important settlements in the lore. You know, I do kind of like how the creators of the mod basically took... Well, what's the word for it? So they were going into the 4th Age, right? Which there isn't a lot of writings about anything that happened. I mean, there's some, but just very little. And so they took basically a lot of inspiration from the ages that had come and gone, basically, and thinking that, you know, basically much of the stuff that had been abandoned or destroyed would be rebuilt. Like the glory days of old would come back, basically. And so like Fornost and Enumenas, which I think were basically abandoned by the time of the 3rd Age, are now like big cities again and are really important to the Reunited Kingdom. And they did like similar things down here in the south with, yeah, I was going to say, I saw you, Minas Ithil. This city was actually destroyed when it was Minas Morgul. I believe Aragorn actually ordered it destroyed. And so then I'm guessing that the lore is basically that a new city was eventually rebuilt on the same spot. And given the old name, Minas Ithil. Osgiliath has not been rebuilt, I noticed, though. Alright, but anyway, so I want to say Adunabar is losing, though has not yet lost up here in the north against the Reunited Kingdom. In fact, they've gathered their troops just kind of around their settlements and just kind of seem to be having a staring contest at the moment. The dwarves and the elves have not really moved very much. I think my understanding... I don't know if I saw this in a video or not. I think I did. Where basically the elves and the dwarves are very passive. Like, they don't really conquer outside of their initial settlements. So I guess I'm not expecting big things from them. Assuming that that is true. And I'm not just remembering things that didn't happen. Alright, so now we get into the freehold of Eriador. And I guess if there was like a true winner up here in the north, I suppose it would actually be the freehold of Eriador. But I don't think they're actually at war with... Oh, they actually are at war with Adunabar. And they're allied with the Reunited Kingdom. Okay, Adunabar is just absolutely going to be wiped out here then, or at least they would be if the campaign was continuing. I mean, Freehold has plenty of troops up here. And we get down to my territory down here. That would have been annoying if they had attacked us, because remember, there were a couple of times where they marched troops through, or close enough to Ridmalin that I thought they were going to attack, and then there was another time where they moved troops really close to Tharbad. But looking at the map now, I mean, there is this army here, but it seems to be moving away. Then we've got these armies here. I mean, they could have been gathering for a strike in the south, but Maybe not. Actually, the Freehold has quite a lot of armies by the look of it. There's like 4 full stacks there. There's most of another stack there. I want to say they have, like, in total, they probably have, like, if you include literally every unit that they've got here, including garrisons, I want to say, like, 12 stacks or so. 11 or 12. And they have plenty of territory, too, so that would have been very annoying to have to fight them as well. Remember, at one point, we actually were going to continue expanding because, like, these were actually rebel settlements, or independent peoples settlements, and we were going to take them, but then the reunited kingdom attacked us in the south, and we were forced to recall our troops to the south. We just kind of left it as it was. We also had Austin Edhill at one point, but left it. Oh, I almost skipped right over Moria. I have to admit, there's no troops here. Oh, wait, here we go. I was looking, I guess those colors were a little off for me, and it didn't look like they had any troops. But no. They do have troops. They're just kind of standing outside there. And of course, we have our own, like, orc strongholds that we just kind of ignored. Didn't see much use in them, to be honest. Partially because we weren't going to go to the Shadow Cult anyways, but also I don't think that they, like, are particularly valuable. I mean, if you want orc troops, then yes, that's obviously where you would get them. But, like, apart from that, I don't think they make much money, for example, or anything. So, like, there's not too much reason to take them. And also, the orcs don't, like, leave their provinces. Like, down here, you see how there's this army just standing, like, right outside the keep? I had troops, like, pass through here on this road, like, multiple times, and wasn't afraid in the slightest of them stepping out of there and, like, getting killed or something. Just because I knew that they never would. All right, and here we are, of course, back in my territory again. The vast, vast domains that I have conquered. Oh, and I guess really quick, I did want to check. All right, Adunabar does not have a bunch of, like, just, I don't know, extra armies back here. I mean, there are places where there's... Oh, wait, there's only 3 units there. Okay. The flag was a little bit filled there, so I thought maybe there were more troops there, but I guess not. So Adunabar does not have vast armies anymore. They have most of their troops there, and they have almost no troops there. Dang. If we had actually pushed on and... Like if the campaign was continuing, we could have, like, just pushed right through here and attacked Minas Anor. Problem is that we would have had to hold it under siege for a while, and well, obviously all these troops could just return in a single turn. So, I mean, Lava's army is actually looking pretty good because we took most of the troops that Lod had that were still good and gave them to him. So, I mean, his army's actually in a pretty good state. All right, but anyway, I mean, to be honest, I would have had to do something here because, I mean, we were going to continue our offensive here in the north, but I feel like we would have also need to start securing territory over here just to actually break Adunabar. Because I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but basically, we've won so many battles against them, tens of thousands of troops killed, and yet, by the end of the campaign, we took, let's see, 1, 2, 3 settlements of theirs. And I assume that, at least in the case of these 2 settlements, they didn't actually even start off with them. I'm actually not sure about Lathron. I mean, I assume it was theirs simply because that is Shadow Cult, right? Yeah, Ways of the Shadow Cult. I mean, I guess they could have taken it from someone else and then converted it, because there's a Temples of the Shadow here. But I don't know. We'll check that. We'll check that when we go back through the saves. But yeah, I think that is everything. We're back around to this territory again. I don't think we missed anything. I think we already mentioned the elves. If we go along the map here, we just see more holds. Is there anything up in, like, these corners up here? Huh, I wonder what this is. An isolated place of Middle Earth, inaccessible. Forgewaith Outpost. I wonder what these are for. They don't seem to be regular settlements, obviously. It says inaccessible, in fact, when you try to go up there. Northern Waste. Okay, well, anyway. I think that actually covers the map and all of the factions as they currently stand here at the end of the campaign. All right, so now what we will do is we will just start going back through some of the older saves here. And again, we won't do all of these. That would just be a while and take forever. Though we will kind of blaze through them as we get closer and closer to the end, because the first couple we'll have to like explain how everything and see how everything is different from it is here at the end. But then as things, you know, kind of solidify as they did towards the end of the campaign, I imagine each save will kind of be a little closer and look similar to the last one. So anyway, let's go back to the very beginning. And here we are. Such humble beginnings it was. In fact, yes, this must be the very first turn, like literally, because I have just this random army standing here next to Arundel, and I definitely didn't put it there. Oh, yes. Be gone. All right, but anyway, so yes, this is how things started off. We have Hratha, and we have Skeld here. Let's see, where are some of our... It's Maok. Kuga. Yes, brave Kuga. I can't remember, was he... Did we put him in charge of our armies at first and then make him the governor of whatever province is going to be there? I think we did. He might have been one of our early army commanders. And there's Waka! Waka! You're back! We missed you so much! See, and we don't have any other generals of note here yet. No, okay, so it would just be Kuga and Waka. Dang, Waka was there right at the beginning, too. I actually, for some reason, thought that, like... that he was, like, a commander we got a little later on. Not towards the end, obviously. He was with us for quite a while, but... I didn't think he was one of the starting commanders. Alright, but anyway, let us get right into the map. Or the map reveal, rather. Alright, and I guess we'll just start, like, going along the edge here. Just kind of fill things in as we go north. Because, I mean, if you've ever played the campaign before, you might actually know the starting positions, but I don't. In fact, just as a reminder from... I think I mentioned this in the prologue, but this is my first ever, like, full conversion modded campaign that I've ever played. So, like, every other campaign I've played is either... And I mean on or off the channel, like, even before I was doing YouTube. But basically, like, they were all either vanilla campaigns, or if I did add mods, it was like bug fixes or graphical improvements. Like, it wasn't an actual, like, different setting or, you know, total overhaul or a total conversion or anything like that. So anyway, let's head on south here. Obviously, most of this actually is just going to be independent people. In reality, they were our own people, of course. They just needed to be brought around to the true way of seeing things. But anyway, so then we head into filthy Dunedain territory, and as we expect, it's all held by the reunited kingdom. Soon it will all be ours. Oh, wow. Dunabar actually starts off with multiple armies inside reunited kingdom territory? I mean, they do have a sturdy garrison at Minas Anor, but like Arnak and Pelargir, I mean, they don't have no garrisons, but still kind of small compared to the armies that are just kind of in the territory here. Oh, and it looks like Calenhad is actually a Dunabar at the beginning. Ah, yes, back when we were allies. I kind of forgot about that. They were just such filthy Dunedain from the moment I laid eyes on them. I had forgotten that they were, in fact, technically allies of ours at the beginning. Oh, and Lathron actually is held by Dunabar at the very beginning. I guess we suspected that since it was Shadow Cult, but it is confirmed. Oh, and Greenwood Watch was actually held by Rohan at all times, or from the beginning. I actually thought that it was maybe either an independent people's fort or was held like that by the Beornings or something. But no, actually it was Rohan from the beginning. Forgoyle. It was Forgoyle territory from the beginning. Okay, but anyway, we're getting off course. I said I'd go south and around first. I'm allowing myself to be distracted. All right, so now if we head south, now the Principality of Harandor. I don't think we ever saw any of them. I'm not sure when exactly they were eliminated, but this is all Haradrim territory by the end of the campaign, so I imagine they were obliterated by them. And then we get into the territory of the Haradrim. Oh, the Principality of Far Harad. We didn't actually see them at the end of the campaign either. I imagine they were also obliterated by the... Oh, they're both Haradrim, but one is the Empire of Harad and the other is the Principality of Far Harad. So they're like the two runic factions where they've basically been... Like, they're kind of similar peoples, but they've been split up. Far Harad, Haradrim. Okay, so the Far Harad basically holds the very, very south of the map. Actually, the desert, basically, because this isn't desert, really. It looks more like, well, yeah, hills and wilderness. Oh, I guess it also refers to this as wilderness. I sort of thought it would say desert. Man, this seems like this would be a rough faction to play as, though. All right, and so then we start heading north. Some free people's settlements here, and then we get into Khand, who borders Rune, and now we're just going to head west for a bit. Aha, so Land Nurnen actually does begin as a Kingdom of Adunabar settlement. Oh, wait a minute, it's a chief city. Oh, I must have missed that, actually, too, because that actually probably also would have tipped off that I was... Actually, no. Adunabar does have other chief cities. Yeah, they have Minas Ithil and Emin Arnen. You see, I think I remember in one of the videos I saw, like, about the mod, Count MHR VHS, or Mr. VHS is how I would like to pronounce that anyways. He made a bunch of videos about the mod, and I believe, like, every faction gets at least one chief city to start off with. But Adunabar clearly has more. In fact, it looks like they start off with 3. Minas Ithil, Emin Arnen, and Land Nurnen. Yeah, it must be nice to start off with armies just sitting in your enemy's territory, ready to strike. Right, but anyway, heading back to the north, we've got Rune here, and we're just going to kind of zip to the west again. Oh, Rovanian. Oh, wait, were they eliminated too at some point? Because I don't remember them holding any settlements by the end either. Yes, they must have been eliminated at some point. The dwarves do start off with Narag Zagil. What faction is that? Settlement of the Kingdom of Dorwinion. Okay, well, whoever they are, they hold, let's see, 1, 2... It looks like they only have 3 settlements. I don't think they survived to the end of the campaign either. Have I heard of them? I don't even recall having heard of this faction before. Dorwinion. Is this just another like human faction or something? Maybe. All right, but anyway, that's interesting. All right, so then we get up to the north here, and we have the... Wait, what were they called again? The Chiefdom of Northrune. I almost called them the Principality of Northrune. As we head west... I don't think Dale has actually moved very much, to be honest. I think they were trying to take Bern back. But I don't think they had any other territories. Like, or other than, you know, like their starting territories, I mean, because I'm pretty sure this was still held by North Rune. This stuff down here had been taken over by Rune. And this stuff was taken over by Adunabar. And we have the elves. We have orcses. Thousands of orcses. Orcses, thousands of orcses. Just holding basically all those outposts in the north. Oh, so Dale actually starts off with territory over here. I actually didn't realize that. More mountain holes. Now we'll go south for a bit, and then once we're done going south, we'll head back up north into the west across the Misty Mountains. So, we have the elves, we have the Beornings. Okay, so the Beornings did expand a little bit, because by the end of the campaign, let's see, they start off with just these two settlements here by the look of it. Oh, they also start off with Holt, which I think was taken by Adunabar. So they basically just conquered all of the free peoples in the areas, in this area, as well as a couple of these orc strongholds here. The elves didn't move. The dwarves didn't really move either by the end of the campaign. Oh, we were right, and this was Beorning territory as well. Alright, so now as we head south, alright, we already looked at Lathron, and of course this was all the territory of Rohan, the Forgoyle, the filthy... You know who they are. We know of them. Alright, now we're back in our territory again, so let's zip back up to the north and then cross the Misty Mountains. It looks like all these orc holds that Adunabar took over started off as independent orc holds. Oh, even Karn Doom is not under their control. Though they start off with troops right next to it, so I guess they could take it very quickly. Alright, so now if we head just a little to the south... Okay, so here's the territory. I think they finished with this territory, too. Oh, okay, so they definitely lost this territory to the Freehold. Oh, and they start off with Rivendell, too. And they had lost that to the Freehold. They actually don't start off with very much. Well, no, actually they do. 5 settlements? As well as easy striking distance for a few more, and some areas where they could grab some orc troops. Some nice cheap orc troops, I think. Let's see, and now we have the Reunited Kingdom. But I think must start off at like a money advantage, but not a military one, because I noticed they don't even seem to have a full stack up here. Like, even if you combined both of these, that wouldn't be a full stack. They don't seem to hold any other territory up here. That's kind of a disadvantage against Adunabar. Like, if I was Adunabar, I would actually probably just ignore those settlements and just immediately strike out for Enumenas and Fornost. Because, I mean, once those were taken, that would be... I mean, first off, I imagine those are 2 really good settlements. Again, I'm just sort of assuming, based on their importance in ages past, that they've been restored to their former glory. And then all they would have is the Sunset Keep, which I imagine will provide very little in the way of money or troops. And then once they've taken those 3 settlements... Well, I guess it depends on whether the Freehold, like, attacks them and goes to war, but if they don't, or if they could at least just kind of hold them back for a bit, they could just, you know, do a lot of, like, basically just conquering of, like, independent settlements. They could take this, all these over here, these orc holds, which could provide, again, cheap orc armies to throw at the Freehold. Oh, Weathertop is controlled by the Reunited Kingdom as well. Ah. Okay, that's still not a disaster, though. We just send 1 army to Enumenas, 1 to Fornost. The 1 from Fornost then goes to Weathertop, and the 1 from Enumenas goes to Sunset Keep, and bam, the Reunited Kingdom is just gone. In the north. Oh, actually, that's a good question, though. What is the diplomatic situation up here? Okay, at war with the Reunited Kingdom, as expected. But they're at war with the elves. Oh, is that a lore bit? Is that a lore bit that they've added into the mod where basically Adunabar has taken over Rivendell and like triggered a war with the elves? I can't help but notice that Last Bridge is actually a chief city, but Rivendell is not. Then again, this is the Fourth Age, so Rivendell is... its glory days are behind it, I'm afraid. Oh, Fornost is not a chief city, but Numenos is. Okay. So there you go. We would have a, you know, if you were playing as a Adunabar, you'd have a couple of chief cities right here in the north. If you could stomach playing as a bunch of filthy Dunedain, obviously. All right, so then we have the elves who have not moved, or will not move by the end of the campaign. And honestly, actually the Freehold... No. I was about to say they didn't expand very much, but yes, they did. They started off with what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 settlements. But by the end, they also have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They actually did quite well. They basically took over all of the independent settlements, plus a few from Adunabar. I assume that... I think they did hold this at the end of the campaign, but I assume they didn't take it from the Reunited Kingdom. Maybe they took it from Adunabar. Because I don't think they were at war... Well, they're not at war with them now, for sure. Like, they're allies. But I think they're still allies at the end of the campaign. So they must have... Like, Adunabar must have taken it from the Reunited Kingdom. And then the Freehold took it away from Adunabar. And now we come down to some more familiar territories. Oh, Austin Ethill didn't start off with anyone in it? That's strange. I seem to remember we did have to fight over it. Didn't we? Well, anyway, I guess regardless. So we come down to Swanfleet, Austin Ethill. We actually did have to take Swanfleet, I think, from Tharbad, so they must have taken that. And they did take Ridmalin and... Wait, did they take Emendrog as well? I want to say that these were both under the control of Tharbad by the time we got up there. And of course, all this other territory is under the control of Tharbad. Greyholm, Londare, our territories by right. Filthy Dunedain. Now, of course, we are back in our own territories again. All right, so that is save one. And again, that one was quite long, but we'll kind of blaze through the others because now we have a good basis for how everyone started off. So let's skip ahead to, let's see, we started off down here, right? So let's skip ahead. All right, and here we are just a couple of saves ahead. Let's go ahead and toggle the fog of war. Let's see, where exactly are we at? Okay, it looks like, oh wow. This was only a couple of saves up, and we've already taken the Hornburg. Okay, gone. And we've taken Edoras. Captain. Oh, this was Waka, right. Okay, so Waka actually took over much of Rohan initially. To be honest, we stopped here, and I think we started to bring troops back because it looked like Tharbad might have been making some moves, I think. Like, I could see their troops very clearly. Well, it looks like they have taken Ridmalin. Ah, there's Helmet Guy, who would be the governor of Edoras for quite a while. Well, until his dying day, actually, but yeah, that's even this early on the campaign. There he is. Yes. Ah, Beold has shown up by now, and he was in charge of one of our early armies, as you can see. See, Kuga must have already, yes, just a couple of saves in, and Kuga has already basically started building up Dunfada into a proper settlement. You can see the population growth is astronomical. We've also taken many of our homeland dominions in this area. Actually, I think everything south of the river is either a fiefdom or an outland dominion, so the only other homeland dominions we would have are currently occupied by the filthy Dunedain. But not for long. All right, anyway, so yes, that's our current state. So now let's see how the other factions are doing. Looks like Gondor, or the Reunited Kingdom, I should say, is exactly where we expected them to be. It looks like Adunabar did not manage to capitalize on its early, like, having armies inside of their territory. Though it looks like they could very well take Minas Anor very soon, and we know they have it by the end of the campaign. I imagine they actually have it for most of the campaign. All right, and it looks like they still have all of their other territories. Looks like the Principality of Horondor has not had any of its territory lost yet. In fact, wait, have they been... Did they hold that keep at the beginning? Or did they take that from Harad? They might have taken that from Harad. Or sorry, the Empire of Harad. There are two Haradrim factions here, so I guess we need to specify. It doesn't look like... Oh, it looks like the Haradrim are having a bit of a civil war here. Looks like Khand has taken some territory down here, though I notice one of them is just the fort, or a fort. An orc fort, no less. I don't think they've taken much in the way of other territory. Don't remember if they started off with that or not, but they are quite close to Adunabar now, who of course just holds all of this here. Got Rune, Rovanian, I guess to keep this consistent, I should just go north at this point. Okay, so we've got Rune. We've still got this Dorwinian faction that I don't remember ever hearing about before. Right, I think that North Rune has expanded a bit. I don't remember them holding all of this. Thought they only had a couple of settlements. Dale is gathering its troops for war up here. Alright, now let's head south. The Beornians have started their conquests, as one might expect. The elves have not moved. Oh, there's still no troops in Austin Edhill. Maybe we did just walk into that settlement. I thought we had to fight for it, but maybe not. All right, so now we have, how has Adunabar and the Reunited Kingdom been doing? It looks like Adunabar still has most of its, or all of its starting territory, but doesn't look like it's conquered very much. Arn Doom seems to have lost most of its troops, though, so there's been some fighting up there, I would think. Oh! Adunabar actually took Fornost at some point. They must lose it by the end, because the Reunited Kingdom has it at the end. Elves. Filthy Elveses. Alright, Tharbad took Ridmalin, as we already observed. See, I think Freehold is starting its expansion. Or wait, I think it held Sarnford, or at least they might have. I think it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4... Or maybe it wasn't. Oh, I don't know. If they did expand, I guess they haven't gone too far. They've taken a single settlement. See, Adunabar still holds Rivendell and all these other territories here. The Reunited Kingdom still has Weathertop. And now we're back in our own territory. But, let's see, did I miss anything? Did I not cover? I guess I didn't really look very hard at Rovanian. So, again, nothing has... I don't think anything's really changed. They might have taken a couple of independent people's settlements here, but this is a wide open territory with very little, or not many settlements, I guess. Alright, so... You see, that was much quicker than the first time around, and I'm sure it'll be even quicker as we continue on. So let's jump ahead again. All right, so now I've already toggled the Fog of War, and here we are back again. Looks like we have taken Swanfleet. Ah, we did have to take Austin Ed Hill, but not from just like rebels. We took it from Tharbad. I guess that makes sense. Tharbad could just kind of walk in without a fight. Though it looks like Waka is coming to destroy them, as they deserve. And I assume this is Beyold. Yes, good old Beyold. You know, Waka was quite long-lived now that I think about it, because I think he outlived Beyold. Even though Beyold, I think, was much younger than him. Okay, it looks like Tharbad actually doesn't end up taking Emin Drog. Unless, like, this force escapes there and takes it, which I guess that could happen. Alright, and then down in the south here, of course, we haven't really conquered anything yet. Reunited Kingdom is staring down some rebels across the border there. They do seem to be gathering some troops up there, though, by this point. And it looks like Adunabar has taken Minas Anor and is now moving on to Arnak. And looking at the disposition of forces here, I imagine they will win. I mean, they must win at some point because we took it from Adunabar ourselves at the end of the campaign. And yeah, Lin here, I think Lin here was also one of theirs, was also under their control by the end. Alright, looks like nothing is really happening up here. You know, I actually kind of forgot that we had like 3 separate campaigns against the Rohirrim. Like right at the beginning, we took these 3 settlements, and then there was a separate campaign where we like took Aldburg and then Calenhad, because the Rohirrim controlled it at one point. This then basically kicks off our war with the Adunabar, and so we then come back later in a 3rd and final campaign that eliminates the Rohirrim. And actually ends not only our campaigns against the Rohirrim, but just the campaign as a whole. This whole series. Alright, heading down south. Okay, Horondor still holds this keep and these settlements here. Though it looks like some Haradrim made it through. Are they not at war with them? How did they get there? Let's see. No, they're at war with them. They're actually at war with basically everyone. Everyone that they know. Almost just like me. Oh, no, I actually meant to click on the army. So there's just this little 2-stack, just kind of, I don't know, somehow I guess they just kind of went around. Dodged through enemy territory to get to Harmon. I assume they're going to die a horrible death here in a minute, though. Oh, wow, the Principality of oh wait, no. This one is the Principality of Horondor and the Reunited Kingdom are both blockading their ports. A concerted effort to keep the Haradrim down, while Horondor invades by land. Oh, they actually took Akas Anaban. Actually, it looks like Horondor was actually doing pretty well at first, though they do have this curious problem where just random 1-2-stack armies of other factions are just in their territory for whatever reason. So the Haradrim are focusing on the east, and maybe that's why Horondor is able to succeed in the west. They must have taken that from the Principality. Well, they definitely haven't won the war yet, but it looks like Khand is also kind of helping out. I mean, not necessarily on purpose. They're just trying to conquer in their own dark name, I'm sure. Right, and Adunabar still holds all of this territory. Edraith. I wonder if that started off as some kind of, like, rebel settlement or something. Looks like they're crossing swords with the people of Rovanion. Yes, they are. As one might expect. Okay, but it looks like the people of Rovanian are not being beaten up. Not yet. I'm pretty sure they were eliminated by the end of the campaign, but no one's beating the snot out of them yet. Oh, Dorwinion has actually conquered slightly into North Rune. Oh, but then I think North Rune has conquered into Dorwinion. Oh, yes, and that's still a dwarven settlement. Okay, everything kind of looking as it was here. I think the Beornians have expanded a little more. Yes, they have. Definitely have. Elves and dwarves are exactly as they were. Yeah, Dunabar has not yet conquered really anything up here. Oh, wait, they've got Karn Doom now. They do have Karn Doom now. It looks like they're trying to take more territory in the south. They still hold Fornost as well. It looks like the Reunited Kingdom is gathering strength at Innuminas. Though they also appear to be sending suicide missions against Fornost. Filthy Elves. Now we're back to Freehold. It looks like they've expanded a bit. They've taken 3 ways. That's really it. And now we're back at our territory again. So, let's zip ahead again. Alright, well, we've jumped ahead another 3 saves, and I have to admit, things definitely seem to go much quicker in the early campaign. I feel like even when I only move 2 or 3 saves, like whole wars have come and gone. But as you can see, we've taken out Tharbad, we've taken Austin Edhill, and as well as just all of their holdings up here in the north, and our armies are completely gone. Well, I mean, other than the troops we ended up leaving behind, and Beold should be the governor here now, and indeed he is. So now if we head south, we've actually done a fair bit of conquering to the south here too, so the war with the Reunited Kingdom has definitely begun. Well, I mean, is well underway, I should say, because remember, we actually fought a couple of battles here in Arundel against their forces. This here is where the war against the Reunited Kingdom really, truly began. Let's see, Waka, yep, Waka's down here, as expected. Wow, his army looks very beat up. Why is he missing so many units? Oh, oh, that's right, I left units behind in different places. Like, see, here's the rest of his forces here. Waka, look at how much more intact his army was at the beginning of the campaign, and I think we did end up, like, replenishing a lot of his troops at Thornburg Keep. Like, we were able to replenish these mercenaries. And we have spare, like, archers, and we have the cavalry there, tribal pikes. Your army was so much more intact when this campaign began, wasn't it? In fact, oh wait. Yep, you see there's some wolf hunters there who are going to basically replenish his wolf hunters too. So yeah, he basically would have had a full army. I mean, it looks a little beat up now, but by the time he left Thornburg Keep, it was like a full intact stack. And it would not be by the time it got over here to Arnak. Which actually, nothing really will have changed in here, I imagine. Oh, wait, actually, looks like Adunabar has taken Lind here at this point, as well as Arnak. They attempt to take Pelargir, but they must fail in that endeavor. Because it was still in Reunited Kingdom territory by the end. But that seems weird. How did you lose that battle? I would think Adunabar would win, unless they abandoned the siege, but why would they do that? Alright, so Harondor still has all of its territory, but not for long. It looks like actually they've lost the keep here as well, and they're about to lose Rad Harnan. And actually with the forces that Harad has here, I imagine this is basically the beginning of the end for Harondor. Like, in fact, Horondor doesn't seem to have any armies. 2 there, 2 there, 3 there, and 3 there, too. They've lost Akas Anaban. Yeah, so sometime in there, Harad really managed to turn the tables on them. I don't think Harad has lost any territory over here, but man, Khand is really pushing to the west. Wait a minute. The Principality of Horondor lost this settlement, but it looks like they lost it to rebellion? Oh, I guess that means they're really on the ropes then. This is their last settlement right here then. I mean, they've got a decent... They've got, well, quite a decent garrison, I have to admit. Let's see, who are they at war with? Right. Khand and the Empire of Harad. Oh, and there's actually allies with Horondor. Not that that's going to save them. In fact, both those factions end up dying. So I guess their alliance was doomed. But yes, it looks like the Principality is going to be gone very soon. I don't think anything looks really different over... Oh, whoa, actually. I was going to say nothing looks really different, but that's different. Wait, is it Khand that has Lond Nurnen by the end of the campaign? I thought it was Rune, but maybe it was Khand. Oh, that's weird. Adunabar is allied with Khand. Were they very briefly at war? Or did maybe Adunabar lost Lond Nurnen to, like, rebels or something, and then Khand took it first? I mean, looking at the Adunabar army standing outside there, they clearly want it back. Alright, and we've already kind of looked at this. Now we're in Rovanion. Looks like the Beornings are about to take their last settlement over there, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll look over there in a bit. Holy smokes, Rovanion has had its... They've just been obliterated. Like, Rune has taken these settlements. Actually, did they take this one yet? They have. They destroyed the dwarves there, too. And they've taken settlements up here. Then Adunabar is over here as well. Actually, are they allied with Rune? They are. So that would have been like an allied battle against Rovenost, which I can't help but notice is rebel or independent peoples. Wait, is Rovanion gone? No, they're still around. Ah, here they are. There's a settlement of theirs up here, though that could very well be the last one. Okay, really quickly, before we get too far off course here, let's just check over here. I imagine not much has changed up here. We still have Rune and North Rune more or less in their positions, except Dale appears to have crossed the river and taken Gargal from them. Or wait, Dorwinion held that, didn't they? They took it away from North Rune. And then I'm guessing North Rune took it back? I don't think Dale is at war with them. Oh, they are! Never mind. Looks like Dale took that away from Dorwinion then. Which means Dorwinion is actually on the ropes too, because that was their... They lost this to North Rune, they've lost that to Dale. Oh, they still have that little island, though, over there. And I just realized Rovanion also has that keep. Almost forgot about that. Or almost missed it, I should say. Alright, the Beornings still hold this territory over here. Okay, this is all looking familiar as well. Oh, except Dale has taken over some of these Orkholds. The Beornings have... Oh yes, they have taken the High Pass. Yeah, it looks like they've basically taken all the territory that they will have by the end of the campaign, except for Feorfeld. which it looks like they are about to take. Oh, and actually they're going to lose a couple of settlements, aren't they? Because Thrimfield and Holt are under a Dunabar control by the end of the campaign. Dunabar and Rohan facing off against each other. Did I already go over this? I don't... No, I think I skipped over this. Because I think I didn't mention that it looks like Rohan has taken Calenhad last time. And we take it from them, and then a Dunabar takes it from us, so... That settlement changed hands a few times. In fact, after I took it, and they took it away from us, I then took it away from them, and then they took it away from me again. So Calenhad just basically doesn't know peace for much of the campaign. And technically, since this bridge here is where we fought many battles against a Dunabar, I mean, it's obviously not taking place at the city itself, but I'd say it's really close. Like, the people of Calenhad could never feel safe. War was always either in their midst or on their doorstep. All right, so now, back up here in the north. Okay, it looks like a Dunabar has taken one of these holds, and I think it takes the other one here by the end of the campaign. They still have Carn Doom. They have Forodrain. Oh, Freehold is definitely pushing against them, though. Well, actually, I just saw this out of the corner of my eye. It looks like the elves have had enough. If these are elves. And so they've lost that one to Rebellion. They've lost Taradol? Yeah, that was a Dunabar territory. That was a Dunabar territory, and it looks like... Like, seriously, did Freehold go to war with... No, they're still allied with the Reunited Kingdom. So yeah, a Dunabar must have taken Weathertop at some point, and then Freehold took it away from a Dunabar, because as you can see, they are pushing into a Dunabar territory. Not exactly with massive forces, but they are doing it. Ah, the Reunited Kingdom has taken Fornost back. You know, it is kind of nice to think, though, that by the end of the campaign, the Reunited Kingdom is basically reduced to just Fornost and Anuminas. Which I'm sure are great cities, but, you know, it's a far cry from the great kingdom they once were. I wonder who could have eliminated them down in the south. I wonder who that was. Some upstanding people who hate filthy Dunedain, I'm sure. Alright, so let's see. Freehold. I guess they haven't expanded any further than what I've already mentioned, but I see armies around here. I imagine they start taking over these settlements soon. And now we're back in our own territory again. And I think we already discussed everything over here. I didn't miss anything, so let's skip ahead again. All right, so honestly, I've skipped over a few saves this time because I felt like things were slowing down a bit. I think things are settling in a little more to the way that they'll look at the end of the campaign, or at least I imagine they will. So anyway, we'll start just going down south here. We should have started pushing. Yes, we have started pushing into Gondor by this point, and the infamous Battle of Mornan is about to begin. His army still looks so intact, so wonderful. And look at all these reinforcements we had for him, too, with replacements for all, or most of his mercenaries. Actually, all of his mercenaries. I think that's just, like, the wolf hunters and the tribal pikes that we don't have any reinforcements for. But by the end, most of them will be dead. Almost all of them will be dead, actually. In fact, now that I think about it, even the mercenary bowmen didn't escape as much as I thought they did, because by the end, we basically had 4 units still, but I see that we have reinforcements here, meaning we must have lost, like, I want to say 2 units, because one of the units isn't at full strength over there. So they didn't suffer as much as the rest of the army, of course, but at the same time, they weren't as unscathed as I thought they were. Waka's approaching the end of his illustrious military career at this point. And yes, somehow Adunabar failed to take Pelargir that one time. Interesting. And we've taken Calenhad. And Adunabar is about to take it away from us. I remember that battle. This is what happens when you entrust your territories to filthy Dunedain and Forgoyle filth. I mean, yes, some of our troops were there, but they did their best. They did their best. It was a bad situation. They couldn't have done any better. You guys should have pulled your weight. Alright, anyway. Everything is kind of as expected. Oh, it looks like Harandor has been eliminated. Also looks like Harad has actually lost Harlan to some rebels, but they might be able to take it back with that force they've got there. So wait, let us check. Okay, Rovanian is apparently still around. Actually, you know what? It'd be better if we just looked at the map, to be honest. Well, we'll see who's here and who's not if we just keep looking. All right, so Harad, having had a glorious campaign here to wipe out Harandor. Let's see, have they gone to the east yet? Oh, not really. It looks like Khand is basically where they were, and so is Harad. So it looks like they're about to take out the Principality of Far Harad. Oh, it looks like Khand is conquered down here, though. That was, I think, a independent people's settlement the last time we looked. Khand is actually doing pretty well for itself. And they still have Lon Nurnen, and Adunabar is still standing out there, just staring at them going, "Get out! Get out!" And Khan's like, "No. Ours, fair and square." Alright, everything is kind of looking just as it was. The Beornings look like they want to cross Rohirrim territory, probably to get at Adunabar. Adunabar and Rohan are probably trading blows here, because I think Adunabar had more forces than that. Alright, it looks like... Oh, wow. Adunabar has actually already taken Thrimfield and is going for Holt. And it looks like Rovanian has lost... I think it was Arab Gobel that they had? And the keep is their last settlement. Oh, and it actually looks like Dorwinian is about to lose their last settlement to Dale. Yeah, it looks like they don't have any other settlements. Okay, but we need to go around here, even though I don't think anything has really changed. Oh, wait, Dorwinian still has the island. Hythe. Or Hythe. Or however that's pronounced. I don't think very much has changed. I think Dale had Gargal when we last looked. And again, it looks like they'll have Wrathwind soon, unless Rune intervenes, because I don't remember who holds that settlement by the end of the campaign. I don't think anything has really changed over here. Oh, except Dale holds the Northern Hold. Oh, wait, did they take it by the end? I thought Adunabar held that one at the end, but maybe I was wrong. Man, Dale just coming in here and just wiping out the orcs. Alright, so now before crossing the Misty Mountains, let's just take a look down here. I expect not very much has changed. Yeah, it looks like the Beornings have taken basically everything that they'll have by the end of the campaign. And they're about to lose the last settlement that they'll lose by the end of the campaign. Okay, Adunabar still holds Carn Doom, but I think they've lost... I think they had Forodrain at some point. I could be wrong about that. I think they started off with, what was it, 2 settlements? Agring and was it Ettendale or was it Forodrain? Well, whichever it was, they don't hold either of them now. Alright, now if we head west, yes, it looks like the Reunited Kingdom is expanding. Taking Forodrain, Tin Vervain, or actually I guess that would be Turn Vervain. We already said they took Farnost back previously. And the dwarves and the elves have done nothing, of course. That's strange. Freehold doesn't seem to have started conquering in this direction yet. But they have been conquering in this direction because they have Benesark, which they didn't before, and they have Lastbridge, and they have Rivendell. So, oh, and Ettendale, of course. We already pointed that one out. So they've definitely been going on an offensive to wipe out Adunabar, which now only has 3 settlements here. They have Agring, Carn Doom, and the Mountain Hold of Graham. And their armies are looking quite small. In fact, I think they're bigger by the end of the campaign. All right, here we are back in our territory again, so let's jump ahead. All right, I have to admit, I've actually jumped quite a few saves forward now, partially to hurry this along, but also partially because it is now solidifying kind of to the way it was at the end of the campaign here, so there isn't a whole lot to talk about. Oh, we'll get to that once we circle around again. We have lost Austin Edhill by this point. As for the campaign in Gondor, Waka has not made it very far forward, despite it being like 5 or 6 saves this time. Oh, look at how many troops we've lost, though. I remind you, at the beginning of the last save, we had, like, all these extra... Like a backup army, basically, with a bunch of mercenaries and huntsmen and stuff. And Waka's army that was besieging Mornan was actually looking pretty intact. But then we lost, like, most of our backup troops to a diplomat who bribed them, and of course Mornan itself claimed many troops' lives. Look at it. His army's being beaten up so badly. My brave warriors. My well-paid warriors. You know, I shouldn't say that, though, because, I mean, we do have true sons of Dunland amongst all of the other, you know, mercenary types. And of course, led by the great Waka himself. Yes, the wars have begun. Lawa of Dunfada and Boda here have been guarding the bridge, and it looks like they've fought a battle or two at this point, judging from the casualties. Though Lawa, I believe, once he goes back to get his armies replenished, I believe we send him around here, and he ends up so close, and yet on such a great journey, so far from where he was originally fighting. Boda is definitely still here by the end of the campaign, though. Yes. Okay, yes, and here comes Ebba. Ebba is Boda's partner in guarding the bridge by the end of the campaign. I imagine basically nothing has changed over here. I don't see how Harad could have really lost anything, or Adunabar. Looks like Khand and Harad have not either lost or gained territory over here, but it looks like they'll be trying very soon. There are many armies here of Khand. And Adunabar is still standing outside of Lond Nurnen, going, "Give it back! Give it back to us!" Alright, and then we've got Rune. Nothing has really changed here. It looks like Adunabar did take Rovanast. Alright, and it looks like Rovanian is dead by this point. Rune has finished them off. Let's see, what about Dorwinian? Dorwinian has been eliminated by this point. Looks like the Chiefdom of North Rune was able to build up some ships and land some troops there to take it from them. Yeah, I imagine, yeah, it doesn't look like anything has changed up here. Oh, except for Dale has lost the Northern Hold, and it looks like Adunabar is going to take it. So, okay, it was Adunabar that held that by the end of the campaign. All right, but before we cross the Misty Mountains, again, it looks like... yeah, everything is basically as it was at the end of the campaign here, methinks. Oh, Adunabar has taken back Ettendale. Right, and I think this is how they finish the campaign, is with these couple of settlements here. Oh, plus Carn Doom is still under their control, as is the Mountain Hold of Graham. It's actually doing somewhat better. In fact, I think once they take the mountain hold, that is actually how they end the campaign for the most part. The Reunited Kingdom, I think, also takes Rond Lossoth by the end. But other than that, I believe they are also at the end. Freehold is conquering south now. We can see they're going to take Ethir Burain. They've taken Raluin. And they already had these territories during our last save. All right, and we are very quickly now back into our own territory. So I think we've only got 1 or 2 more to go. All right, so here we are. We're a few more saves forward. And let's see, I don't think anything will have changed over here. Ah, Waka is well into defeating the remnants of the Reunited Kingdom here in the south. In fact, oh, this is just before Waka dies. He kills this force, this tiny little force here of the Reunited Kingdom, and then goes to besiege Romphalas. And while they're under siege, he dies. Poor Waka. That means we must have also lost Kuga at this point. Yes, we have. And we've lost Baeld, I'm sure. Yes, we have. See, Waka, he just outlives them all. I mean, we've probably lost Skeld. Yeah, we've lost him. We've lost, oh, Baeld. That's right. Oh, Baeld's not dead. That's right. He becomes the heir at one point. So we bring him from Tharbad to Dunkriok. So he's actually not dead yet. He's not. In fact, wait, does that mean he outlives Waka? I mean, unless he dies, like, in the next turn. Which actually... I think he actually does, now that I think about it. I believe he dies basically immediately afterwards. Alright, so now let's head over here. So yes, we have the tag team of Boda and Ebba. And our final offensive into Rohan has begun with Alka and... is this Karda? Yes. Having taken those settlements from the filthy Forgoil. Alright, and then, yes, there's Dunabar, Arad. Again, I'm not really expecting too much change over here. It's basically once we get over here that I'm expecting change. Yes, Harad has taken actually a fair bit, well, a couple of settlements, I guess, from Khand. Actually, 1, 2, 3... Okay, they've taken 3, are maybe about to take a 4th, wow, and maybe a 5th. Holy smokes, I just realized Harad has tons of armies around here. There's more of them on the way. Khand does not seem to have the same forces either, so they're definitely getting obliterated. Oh, Adunabar has given up on Lond Nurnin. Oh, and it looks like Khand is actually fighting Rune as well. That's actually probably really bad for them. Alright, and then this, I assume, is going to be basically the same. Rovanian is still dead. And so is Dorwinian. Oh wait, I think Dale has conquered a little further to the south. Did they have Wrathwind the last time we looked? I thought North Rune had that. Maybe not. Maybe not. But even so, like, one settlement change is not exactly eye-opening. In fact, I think this is more or less how North Rune finishes, with just a bunch of armies standing around Garth. Alright, so now before we cross the Misty Mountains, let's check on the Beornings. Of course, nothing has changed. Yeah, this is just a whole lot of nothing. The Reunited Kingdom has taken Rond Lossoth as well. Yep, and it looks like, I think this is more or less how Dunabar finishes as well, with just some big armies around Agring. And the Reunited Kingdom has most of its forces around Fornost, though I don't know. They seem to have more armies than I remember them having on the last turn. Got, like, maybe 4 stacks in total if you, like, merged all these troops here. That seems like more than they had. I will reload just quickly into the last save again to take a look at things, but I'm not expecting too much. Okay, Freehold is taking its sweet time, I have to admit. Though the turns are longer and longer as the campaign wears on, so it's not necessarily that Freehold has been, going slowly. It's just also that the turns are taking longer with so many more battles, and less is happening as the campaign goes on. Now here we are once again back in our territory. All right, so I'm just going to load back into the last save one more time. Not that we're going to spend much time looking at things. We already did, after all. I did just want to quickly check... Okay, no, the Reunited Kingdom did have, like, 4 or 5 stacks by the end. Right, and Adunabar did have that there. Okay. And then, really quickly, did Dale... Yeah, Dale did hold Rathwind by the end. Okay, yeah, so everything basically kind of solidified at that point, except for, of course, our own conquests pushing in to... Well, I guess we would eventually get to Rovania, and right now this was Adunabar territory when we started, and this was Rohirrim territory, so... Or Filthy Forgoyle territory. So anyway... Here we are again, back at the end of the campaign. Now, just to go over some other things very quickly, just things that you probably noticed if you were watching the campaign, but if not, you may have noticed I do have sort of what I consider more or less my standard armies at this point in my campaigns, where it's basically 5 cavalry units if you include the general's bodyguard, which in this campaign we often couldn't, actually, because sometimes there were infantry bodyguards and sometimes they were cavalry. We would then have, let's say, 5 mainline infantry units who would hold the line, a back line of units, usually wolf hunters, and then like 2 like side units that would kind of guard the flanks, as well as 4 archers. Though the exact composition kind of varied depending upon when in the campaign it was. Because early on in the campaign, we would just have these Dunlandish horsemen for the cavalry, and then we would have like the axemen be the front lines, with the spearmen being the back lines throwing spears. And I think actually sometimes I would also have them be the troops on the flanks, but I think we also used the tribal pikes for that purpose. In fact, Waka's army that went into Gondor was using tribal pikes. And we basically we used a Dunlandish bowman at the very beginning of the campaign, but that was it. We didn't use them throughout most of the campaign because we got mercenary bowmen of Eriador, and we just recruited them left, right, and center. Even though I think they're kind of comparable to the Dunlandish bowmen in stats. Well, I guess once you actually give them like all of the weapon and armor upgrades that are available, I guess actually the mercenary bowmen are, actually, strictly speaking, better. They're still really cheap, though. I think the only thing the Dunlandish bowmen really had in their favor was just a higher unit, or a higher number of men in the unit. But we definitely wanted that extra range, because there was times where we definitely needed it. So I don't really regret hiring all of those mercenary bowmen. We actually used the Dunlandian Guardians very little, because I think, okay, so the lowest army was the one I just described that was using like spearmen and axemen, but then we had like a sort of mid-tier army where we had wilding swords be our, what's the word for it, our mainline infantry. I think we might have used some tribal pikes at that point too. And then I think we also probably used wolf hunters. And then I think we still, at that point, because I'm thinking the only real army we had that was using wilding swords, apart from our auxiliary army that didn't fight a single battle, I think by that point we still were using Dunlandish horsemen as well, because we hadn't quite gotten Dunfrecca to the point where we could have riders of the Eisenmarch. So I think we were still using them as well. But even like when we got to our high tier armies, they were going to be, I guess, filled with Dunlandian Guardians, but we only managed to fill 1 army with them before we triggered, like, the unification goals, and we got access to Wolf's Oathmen, and then we very quickly switched to them. Wolf's Oathmen are definitely an upgrade. I mean, in stats, for sure, yes. Though their attack is actually the same. And they have 5 extra, like, defense. But if you look at their abilities, like, basically, the Dunlandian Guardians have reasonable morale. And then the Wolf's Oathmen have a whole bunch of other stuff that the Dunlandian Guardians do not have. We definitely switched to them pretty quickly. Now, when it came to settlement development, basically Dunhold, Dunkriok, and Dunfreka were military recruitment from the very beginning. We did do economic buildings, as you can see, in them, but it was only after like we had built up all of the military buildings. Anghall actually has had a financial policy from the beginning, but I wanted a 4th settlement to basically make like garrison troops, like basically train up huntsmen. And so I wanted them to have that, but also, and actually this has nothing to do with the military buildings. Let's see. Hunting parties, yes. This is where this was the only place we could recruit the warhounds. So let's see. I think the only armies that really managed to get any, though, were the mercenary army under Carda and the auxiliary army here under Isel, or Acel. And actually, he's basically got one of the mid-tier armies, except for he has warhounds instead of the like wolf hunters and the tribal pikes. And of course, he's actually using Dunlandish bowmen instead of the mercenary bowmen, which I guess actually means he's only half of a mid-tier army. We did switch to Riders of the Eisenmarch quite quickly. I mean, to be honest, they're definitely not the best cavalry unit that we had access to, though they're the best cavalry unit we had access to in great numbers because we could actually train them ourselves. I didn't realize that the Rittermark Rider mercenaries were so good. I mean, because they really, really were good. I mean, even not upgraded. Let's see, 13, 32, 21. Yep, they're definitely better, except for on the attack, where they are slightly worse. But we were able to count on them to really save the day a couple of times. Though I did mix up their units a bit, which is why instead of having gold armor and weapons, they like these guys have bronze, these guys have silver. We definitely suffered casualties among them. And then we had one whole battle where we used the Sons of Vidogavia. They lost one man. One man. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, since they are a mercenary unit... Oh, I just want to test something really quick. I assume they can be retrained here, because I think mercenaries can be retrained at forts. And they can, yes. Well, in forts that are, I think, near where they can be recruited. Because I remember I was able to replenish the Enedwaith Axeman mercenaries here at Thorenburg Keep. And that's because I think they can be recruited, like, right here in whatever province. Old Puckle Land. Or Puckle Land, however you want to pronounce that. Puckle Land doesn't sound very nice. But yeah, alright, so that takes care of that. Oh wait, I was talking about settlement development, and I skipped over everything. So yes, these 3 were basically mostly military, as was Anghall. Though, I mean, again, financial policy, but it did supply lots of garrison troops in the form of huntsmen, as well as the warhounds. And then, of course, towards the end of the campaign, we did build barracks in Greyholm, Tharbad, and Laundaire to train up auxiliary armies, but then we only ended up training 1. And that army didn't even get to fight anyone, though it was so close to fighting Harad at one point. I don't know, I guess I had a lot of money, like mid to late campaign, but I kind of got the idea in my head that my money was basically infinite. I mean, it wasn't and isn't, but like I was just training armies nonstop, and that's what I was thinking I was going to do over here, was train these, you know, weaker armies, but, you know, more numerous armies to like supplement my elite forces. Then I looked at my income, which is really good now, but only because I put the brakes, honestly, on military recruitment. Because I was actually like dipping actually pretty close to losing all my money at one point. We had to rein in public spending, though we still had the armies necessary to finish the campaign. Now, to be honest, if I was to continue the campaign, though, because we're just kind of pushing into Adunabar territory, and we're not going to recall these armies anymore to get them like replenished. Like this Boda's like replenishment here is the last time that's going to happen, because we can't like bring armies back mid-campaign like this. So once, like, now that these guys have basically been committed and we're going to keep pushing in, they were basically going to become like Waka's old army, now led by Lod, where they're just going to fight to the death and just be never-endingly replaced by mercenaries. Which means that those armies will get fewer and cheaper, and so I would probably just restart military recruitment again. In fact, technically, I guess I have the beginnings of a few armies here, because I started recruiting units thinking that I was going to make more armies, and that's when I then hit the brakes on military recruitment, but that still left me a few extra units here. That could be the start of some new armies. My income is actually going up again, so I probably could have just restarted military recruitment more or less now, I would think. Especially since it'll take a while to actually recruit the armies and then get them to the front, so we'll probably need them by the time Karda and Alka, you know, like start basically losing all of their troops. And of course, we still have we would have had many battles to fight still here as well, with ever, you know, diminishing troops. And I'm not sure we could even count on this army to back them up, because, well, actually, I guess I would have sent them to the front to help as well once they defeated this Haradrim force, but there's always the risk that Harad would, like, do a naval invasion, and then I would have no armies back here, and no garrisons or anything to defend against them. And that would be really bad. Maybe I would just have to put, like, a sturdy force here at Dol Amroth, because losing these other settlements would be annoying, but not the end of the world. Whereas losing Dol Amroth would actually probably be pretty serious, because it would be hard to take it back. The chief city in the area, so they could recruit some good troops. So no, I wouldn't want Dol Amroth to fall. Now, as a quick reminder of some of my quirks that you may have noticed in the campaign, and I'm sure I mentioned them in the prologue, but basically, I didn't auto-resolve any battles. Not even, like, off-screen. Like, I do prefer to fight all my battles myself, even small battles, just because I think they're pretty enjoyable to play. Like, even if you just have, like, a small force yourself versus a small force of theirs, because then you have to think about, like, how are you going to use this small force to try and win? I don't think it's particularly interesting to watch, which is why I don't always, or actually kind of rarely even show those battles, but I just don't care much for auto-resolves. You also, I'm sure, noticed that I fight battles to the end. One thing that I notice a lot of people do in some of, like, the YouTube videos that I watch, like, basically, once the battle is over and the victory screen comes up, they just immediately end the battle, whereas I always consider, like, running down every last enemy to be just part of the fun, almost like doing a victory lap at the end of your battle. Just like you know, coming down from, you know, having earned this victory, and now, like, this is just part of it. I just never liked leaving it there. I always wanted to, like, fight to the end and run down all of my enemies as they fled. I'm sure you also noticed that I don't use the center of the settlement to win victories. So, like, even if I had the opportunity to, like, just plant some troops in the center of the settlement and wait for the timer to run out, I always avoided doing that. I don't think it came up too much, to be honest, in this campaign. Maybe once or twice. I mean, certainly I never tried to engineer a situation in which that would happen, so that also just would ensure that it doesn't happen very often. But even, like, when I had the opportunity to just, like, take the center of the settlement and just ignore... Oh, actually, I think Mornan might have been one of the settlements where that happened, because I think that was one of the settlements where we fought the King's Longbowmen, remember, on the wall? And basically I was losing all of my infantry to them, and I was thinking, like, holy crap, I'm losing all of my infantry to, like, just this bowman unit on the wall. That's when, like, my hatred of the King's Longbowmen surely began. But I think in that battle, I think that was the battle where I did have the opportunity to, like, just take the center of the settlement, because I had defeated everyone else. It was just the Longbowmen on the wall. I could be not remembering that correctly, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yes, that would never happen, though. I would never actually use, like, a capture point to win a battle. I feel like that's that's something that could have been eliminated in future Total Wars, even though I'm pretty sure that did not happen. I think, in fact, it was even expanded upon, much to my annoyance, but I don't play very many of the later Total Wars, so I guess it doesn't bother me all that much. All right, so now we really need to finish this up. This is taking way too long. But basically, I just wanted to say, like, because in previous epilogues, I would actually talk about the mods I used. And I guess this time, it's basically, there's the 4 GB patch, which I used on Medieval 2. You can see all these mods in the description, by the way. And I also used, like, DG Voodoo Wrapper, basically so that I could use Reshade, because I believe this game uses DirectX 8, and you have to be at least DirectX 9 to use Reshade. And DG Voodoo, I think, brings it up to 10, 11, or 12. Now, I don't know if that also helps at all with, like, crashing or making the game run better, just having it, like, I guess, use, like, a later version of DirectX, but to be honest, the mod was extremely stable. Like, I'm telling you, I had one crash, and it wasn't even... I guess if I just played normally, I would never have actually seen it. Because you see, I'm sure I explained this during an episode, but I basically had what I thought was a bug, and I was trying to, like, go between, like, an old save to, like, see if I could reproduce the bug, and I caused a crash. But, like, I think it was my mucking about that basically caused the crash. So if I had just kept going, which I did with, like, my later save, and just kept going, there wouldn't have been any crash. So I didn't have a crash, in my opinion. I had no crash the entire campaign. And I don't know how many hours this has been. I mean, even if I totaled up the time that I spent, you know, just on the episodes, or the time that went into the episodes, it would be many, many hours. But then there was also many, many hours you guys didn't see because I didn't record it, you know, just the campaign stuff. So, I mean, extremely stable. I have absolutely no complaints. I should also mention, though, I am using the Majestic submod version of 4th Age. Again, links in the description where all that is. And as well as, I think I also have the links to the original 4th Age if you wanted to play that one. But I do highly recommend Majestic submod. It is absolutely magnificent. And I'm really glad that I picked this as, like, my first, like, fully modded, like, conversion playthrough. Because again, this was the first. I've never done this before. And now I have to admit, this was a great first experience for that. All right, so now this epilogue has taken absolutely forever. In fact, I can't believe I've talked for this long. I might have to actually cut this down in recording, or in editing afterwards, because holy smokes, did I just talk your guys' ear off. I bet most of you have left. I know I would have. All right, but anyway, so yes, this is truly the end of the campaign. There's nothing more to see here. We'll have a couple more campaigns for you guys. Either later in the week or maybe next week, depending on when exactly this goes up. So I hope to see you in one of those campaigns. So goodbye for now.